Resilience she experiences as survival. The truth is uncomfortable. A woman still rebelling psychologically isn't fighting you, she's fighting an earlier life she never processed. But if you stay long enough, you become the nearest structure. Attraction quietly turns into opposition. Number 3. Visibility becomes constant noise. Tattoos attract attention, comments, conversations, doors that would otherwise remain closed. For some women, that visibility feels energizing. Being noticed reinforces identity. Being seen becomes regulation. Here's what many men underestimate. If you value privacy and low stimulation, dating someone who constantly draws attention reshapes your environment. You're no longer just sharing space with her, you're sharing it with an audience. Even without boundary violations, the noise never fully stops. Psychologically, this goes one of two ways. Attention remains neutral, or it becomes fuel, something she unconsciously seeks when bored, unsure, or emotionally flat. That's how validation dependency forms. This isn't jealousy, it's awareness of energy. Someone grounded internally doesn't need constant reinforcement. Someone who isn't becomes unsettled when attention fades. When attention turns into emotional oxygen, intimacy with one person often feels insufficient. Men with structured lives feel this drain quietly. You sense her nervous system lights up more in public than in private. Being chosen matters less than being noticed. Ask yourself, does she prioritize connection or visibility? One deepens intimacy, the other expands outward. Those paths rarely meet long term. Number 4. When disorder feels safer than calm. Some people don't just endure pain, they become familiar with it. When chaos is consistent, the nervous system adapts. Intensity becomes normal. Calm starts feeling wrong. This isn't dramatic dysfunction, it's subtle discomfort with stability. When life quiets down, something feels missing. Healthy relationships feel flat. Without intention, emotional friction gets recreated because friction feels alive. Stable men experience this pattern repeatedly. At first, you feel refreshing, safe, different. Over time, your steadiness gets labeled boring. Consistency turns predictable. Emotional regulation feels dull. The chemistry fades. What's happening is a mismatch in emotional wiring. Chaos creates spikes. Drama releases adrenaline. Pain produces intensity. When those were confused with love before, peace can't compete. The nervous system doesn't read safety as attraction. It reads it as absence. The cycle repeats. Chaos creates chemistry. Chemistry forms attachment. Attachment leads to destruction. The aftermath confirms the belief that love hurts. When a man arrives who doesn't hurt, he doesn't fit the script. You cannot outlove a trauma pattern. You cannot stabilize someone bonded to turbulence. If you try, you become the most confusing chapter, the man who did everything right and still lost. Not because you failed, because you were healthier than her nervous system recognized. Number 5. Unstable identity weakens commitment. For some women, tattoos represent ongoing reinvention, statements of "this is me now." Growth is healthy, necessary. The issue arises when identity never settles long enough to build anything lasting. When self-concept keeps shifting, commitment becomes fragile. One year she's reflective and meaning-driven. The next, she's chasing novelty and intensity. Each phase feels real in the moment. None last long enough to root. Early on, this feels exciting. Unpredictability creates intrigue. She seems dynamic. Over time, it becomes emotional whiplash. Planning feels impossible because neither of you knows who she'll be months ahead. Many men abandon their own needs here. They convince themselves consistency is boring, that wanting stability is controlling, that adapting endlessly equals maturity. Adaptation without mutuality erodes you. Healthy growth maintains continuity. Unstable identity resets whenever discomfort appears.
Tattoos here aren't the issue. They're signals that reinvention may be avoidance rather than integration. You cannot commit to someone still testing who they are. Waiting isn't strategy, it's risk. Number 6. Her social circle becomes your climate. Men think they're choosing an individual. In reality, they're entering an ecosystem. A woman's social environment reinforces beliefs and emotional norms. Over time, it shapes the relationship, whether acknowledged or not. People adapt to where they feel belonging. If her closest friends thrive on drama, that becomes normal. Not from weakness, from wiring. Repetition becomes justification. You may start as the grounding presence. Slowly, outside voices creep in. Doubts get planted. Conflicts grow. Watch what her circle rewards: accountability or victimhood, growth or grievance, stability or chaos. Those values don't stay external. They enter through advice and validation. This isn't about isolation, it's realism. If the group treats men as disposable and relationships as temporary, love struggles to survive. Not because you didn't try, because you were outnumbered. Love doesn't operate in a vacuum. Even strong individuals tire when swimming against the current every day. Number 7. Ink as protection from vulnerability. Certain defenses are visible. Tattoos can be one of them. For certain women, they control perception before closeness can cause harm. When self-worth is fragile, visibility feels safer than openness. You see it subtly: compliments deflected, emotional interest met with distance, closeness followed by withdrawal. It's not manipulation, it's defense. Shame doesn't vanish because love is offered. Tattoos can function as emotional armor. Armor blocks connection as much as pain. Intimacy can't grow where defenses never lower. Many men slip into the rescuer role, reassuring, fixing, giving more, hoping consistency heals. Support is healthy, rescue is not.
If she doesn't believe she's worthy of love, love won't convince her. At best, she borrows validation. At worst, she resents needing it. Either way, imbalance forms. You can walk beside someone doing the work. You can't carry someone avoiding it. Number 8. Impulse framed as honesty. Modern dating often confuses impulse with authenticity. Acting on feeling is treated as virtue. Tattoos can reflect this belief. Decisions made during emotional intensity without long-term thinking. Impulsivity is driven by short-term dopamine, immediate relief over future stability. That doesn't make someone bad, it makes them unreliable in long-term partnership. Men grounded in principle ask where choices lead. Impulsive people ask how they feel now. That difference matters when boredom arrives, when attraction fluctuates, when life gets repetitive. Impulse seeks stimulation, not solutions. Healthy freedom includes restraint, the ability to pause and choose alignment over appetite. Instability hides as spontaneity when structure is absent. Watch behavior, not explanations. How does she respond when emotions shift, when novelty fades? Patterns built on escape eventually reach the relationship. Number 9. Identity as a silent test. Psychological evaluation exists in dating, whether acknowledged or not. Sometimes it's embedded in identity. Tattoos can become emotional filters. Question them, you're judgmental. Praise them, you're validating the story. Ignore them, you're inattentive. No response wins. You're being measured for reaction, not opinion. This creates lose-lose dynamics. Critique pushes you out. Enthusiasm traps you in performance. Neutrality breeds suspicion. The relationship becomes about passing tests you didn't agree to. Men lose leverage here by adapting, self-editing, walking carefully. Tests only work if you believe compliance earns connection. A grounded man observes instead of performing.
Constant testing reveals lack of internal safety. You stop auditioning, you assess fit. When identity blocks connection, intimacy never deepens. You're allowed preferences. Discernment isn't wrong. Number 10. Hyper-independence disguised as confidence. Independence attracts until it becomes armor. Hyper-independence forms when reliance once felt unsafe. The rule becomes need no one, trust nothing. It looks strong. In relationships, it creates imbalance. Intimacy requires interdependence, giving and receiving without power struggle. When care is reframed as control, partnership erodes. You're present but unnecessary. Men feel frustration they can't name. You invest but aren't let in. Decisions happen without you. Distance is framed as strength. You become appreciated, not relied on. Polarity fades when vulnerability is forbidden. Healthy relationships don't require neediness. They require openness to reliance. If she never leans, you're not her partner. You're proof she can stay guarded and still be wanted. Number 11. You may be the reset, not the future. Many men realize this only after it ends. You entered during exhaustion, after chaos. Compared to what she left, you felt like peace. Peace isn't readiness. Some are drawn to calm because they're depleted, not healed. Calm feels good, then unfamiliar, then wrong. You slow her nervous system. Life stabilizes. That doesn't mean you're the destination. If healing hasn't occurred, peace feels empty. Old patterns return. Certain tattoo clusters matter here psychologically, not morally. Quantity, visibility, dark imagery, not guarantees, signals of prolonged identity struggle. This doesn't make her bad. It means relationships may be built on transitions. If unnoticed, you spend years proving safety only to be left when safety stops stimulating. You can offer stability. You can't make it satisfying to someone still drawn to storms. This is about selection, knowing whether you're chosen as a future or a pause. Tattoos aren't judgments, they're data, signals about coping, identity, and values. The real question isn't good or bad, it's alignment. Attraction isn't enough. Chemistry isn't enough. Intensity isn't intimacy. Many confuse adrenaline for connection. You're allowed to want peace, consistency, a partner whose nervous system can live in calm. That's not boring, it's intentional. Choosing wisely is self-respect. The strongest men aren't those who endure chaos. They're the ones who walk away early enough to protect their future.